Rachel here from Beads by Verchiel, bringing you this week's Thursday tutorial time. So I'm going to wait for you to hop on and have a little chat until you're all in the group. So as always, please do give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you're present, and also so that I can enter you into this week's giveaway. Now, if you're one of the first on, please do pop me a note in the comments. There we go. Hello, Janet. Janet is first in the house tonight. How are you, Janet? And Francis, Trisha, hello to you all. Hope you're all well. So we've got a slightly different project tonight. I think it's always quite nice to do something, go back to sort of basics that perhaps often we forget about, or perhaps we've never done before. Hi June, hi Kim, hi other Francis, hello Lydia. Glad you're all well. So you've probably seen some of the pictures in the thread already, but let me show you if you haven't. So this is tonight's project. This is actually working with eye pins and working with bead caps, optional of course, and I've got some little seed beads that actually space it out a little bit. Now this is I use one of mine, I'll show you. It's a little bit weathered, but I use this for curtain tie backs in my little shop here, or my studio. So I still have a clasp on it, but they're really ornate, and obviously you could add some little charms in there as well, but they're really easy to do and very cheap as well. We've got a few more people joining. Hello Annette, hi Betty, hi Linda, hello Kay, hello Sharon. And also you can use them for earrings as well. What I like with these is that it gives it movement. So rather than like a long head pin, by breaking it up into different components, it gives it movement. Obviously you don't have to have it that long, you don't have to have it in gold, you can have it in silver, but the options are there for you. Hello Anne, hi Deb, hi Jane. So I was just going to show you some of the pearls that I've got in the group. Now would you believe these ivory pearls, 16-inch strands. Thank you Francis Watkins, she does my stringing for me, absolutely brilliant. She will remember these. These are 16-inch roughly, and I think they're £1.30, and that's what I've done with this one. Now it looks brighter on its own, but when you combine it with the gold, it gives it like an antique-y look. So I'm going to just show you some of the other bits that I've got in the thread. Hello Jay. So tonight I'm going to be using one of the gold ones. I think these are like about £1.20 a strand. So that's the gold, which has kind of got pink tones to it. That's another gold, which is slightly antique-y. You've got gunmetal. She does remember those beads. I thought you would, Francis. Hello, Dot. There's some more ivory ones, and there's some blush as well, which are like a pinky colour. So these are all 8mm. These are all in the thread. Now, if you want a quick search for things, at the top of the group there's a little eyeglass. Click on the eyeglass and you could put in 8mm or 8mm glass pearls, and that's a quicker way of you viewing what you want to look at instead of scrolling through all the photographs, and the same with other bits. So you could try that. There's also 6mm. These are coming up tomorrow, I think. Now the other thing, I've put these online before. They're going pretty fast, and they don't really look a lot when they're strung like that. Nothing to do with the stringing, Francis. I have to add, the stringing is immensely neat as always. But when you actually cut them, what you actually get is these lovely daisies. So that's another way that you can actually decorate them and load them up as well. So I broke them up when I took a photograph so that you could actually see, and they're super pretty. And that's actually what those two are, what I've got layering my curtain tie backs. Yes, there was loads of them, wasn't there? Francis, the first one looks rose gold champagne. This one, yes, it is very rosy gold, isn't it? Now, I am going to do a bracelet demonstration because I can do the whole thing from start to finish for you. Now, also, we've got these lovely little clasps. I've also got them in the silver colour. They're just like little hook and loops. Now, I have to confess, because I actually get quite hot round my neck. I really are very hard wearing on my jewellery. What you could always do is, to get them to last a bit longer, is you could always paint them with clear nail varnish. But just make sure that you leave them plenty of time to set, especially if you're selling them, because obviously you don't want them going out smelling of nail varnish. But that's just a top tip that someone gave to me. Oh, Sharon said she wasn't sure what those strands were. Betty says, thank you to Francis for stringing. She does love the mixes. Oh, that is lovely, Betty. It's lovely to hear it from someone else as well, because I say exactly the same to Francis. She has got such a lovely eye. So a lot of the bead mixes that you get are all Francis's work. So yes, a very big thank you. I'm going to show you what tools to use in a minute. And also, I don't have any for sale because I'll be honest with you, they're not the cheapest to keep in stock, but you can order them on Amazon. I'll show you how to use the one-step looper as well, which are really good if you're doing lots of the eye pin necklaces. Perhaps you've got arthritic hands or you get pains in your hands, so I'll show you that as well. So let's do a little shopping list now, shall we? Really, any size bead works in this. Eye pins. So eye pins basically have got these little eyes at the end. So you pop your beads on there and then you cut. A bit like making an earring hook. The only difference is you've got the hook pre-formed one end. You can have optional bead caps, some jump rings to your size. Now, in terms of tools, you're going to need your looping pliers to loop the hooks. Hello, Lucy, it's good to have you. Side cutters, flat nose and chain nose, or a combination of those for opening your jump rings. So let me just get ready and take some of these out, and then we'll zoom right in. Oh, my earrings. I'm glad you like them because I've actually ordered some more beads like this. Now, you know the mini the cones that we've worked with? Well, these are the gold mini cones, and these are calla lilies. And what I've done is I've put some seed beads inside. It might be easier when we actually zoom in and I'll show you, but I really enjoyed making those, and I'll probably do a little tutorial on them at some point where we do some different earrings. Oh, Kay's got the one-step looper, so it'd be good to see the demo. Fabulous. Yeah, lucite's really nice, isn't it? Very colourful. Right, let me just undo my stand a little bit because it's a bit... Woo! Now, I didn't want it to go that floppy, did I? Right, okay, let's just have to bear with me a second while I just get this positioned. Right, that okay? Let's just zoom in a wee bit more. let me show you the earrings. So these are the calla lilies, and I think it was Sharon. Now Sharon's in the group. Now what I love about our group is we all are wonderful at giving each other support and suggestions. And Sharon mentioned about the plain ones is you could use a metallic marker pen and actually colour them. And I have actually done it with some others, and brilliant tip. So there you go. So hopefully you can see, okay, so this is the eye pin. Now you don't have to use these, but these are size 10 seed beads. I'm going to use a couple of those. They just really make the beads a bit more pronounced. I'm going to pop one of those bead caps on. These are in the group. I'm sure you've all got bead caps in your stash somewhere. So just think about your design. You know, I think keep it simple is my top tip. Okay, so that's what I've got. So I've got a couple of seed beads, a bead cap, and the gold 8mm beads. Now a little bit, if you've done earrings before, this is the same sort of technique. Now about a finger width away from the last bead, pop it inside your bead mat, because you know the fragments, you don't want them going in your eye. And then with your chain nose pliers, just above the last bead, turn it at a right angle or thereabouts. Okay, and then we're going to go to our looping pliers. Now obviously the further down the pliers you go, the bigger the loop. Make sure that it's flush so there's no excess sticking out. I would hold that with your non-dominant hand to steady it and start to turn. Now you don't have to do it in one full loop, and sometimes as you start getting closer to the end, you might find it a bit easier to use the end of your pliers. All right, if it's not bent quite right, then just tilt it back. I'm going to give you some top tips along the way. Now what you want is you want them nice and snug. So you don't want big excess where it glides up and down. Now if you weren't happy with that and you think, well actually it needs a little bit tighter, go in to the loop, take off 1 or 2 mil, so it saves you undoing the loop, and then go a bit further down your pliers, and that will make it tighter. So you've got, when you first do them, you'll probably find that you've got a lot of excess wire. It's just practice. So there's one completed one. Now you can either do them all as you go, or you can make them in bulk and then join them. The only thing with that is really you're not going to know quite how many you're going to need. But I am going to go with the latter anyway. I'm going to make a few up and then join them together. So I'm going to do a few of these this style, then I'm going to do a few of them actually using the one-step looper. And if you've never heard of it before, then I will show you. Now my one-step looper was actually given to me by a friend of mine that no longer jewellery makes, and it really is quite a good tool. I must admit, I think you can get a closer finish by doing it manually. And when I mean closer, I mean, you know, there's not so much rocking about. Okay, so you just keep building those up. Just going to do one more. And you could ask, well, why am I actually adding the seed beads on at the end? It's really A, for decoration, and B, when you're adding these bead caps, it just helps them to sit a bit better. I'll show you as well a little bit later on what the flower caps look like as well. Okay. I'm just trying to think what else you could use your eye pins for. I suppose if you make bags, you could make it as a decorative handle for it, but you'd need some pretty thick, sturdy jump rings to make sure it didn't catch and come undone. You could also use them as bag charms. So there we go. So already we're well on the way there. There's 3 there. We might have a mini bracelet, but we're doing okay for time, so we'll keep pondering at the moment. Now, let me just show you what these little flowers look like. Whoops. Don't really need all of these out, do I? So, a small one and a bigger one. And then we could try it with a bead cap afterwards. We could try a couple of those. Just gives it that extra decorative effect. Sorry if I keep going off camera. Just got to remember to reverse that. So a big one, a small one, 2 jump rings. Jump rings? Seed beads. Okay. So that would be quite a nice centre bit, just to give it an extra focal point in the middle. Right, so let's have a look at this one-step looper. Let's put these all out of the way. Now with your one-step looper, let me just turn it to the side. Now you have got, I don't know if you could see that, but you've actually got a hole there. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit more so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you've actually got a hole in the middle, which is where it does the looping. And what we do is we go across here and we're going to go through the hole at the end. I'm just going to turn that round. What I find most difficult on this is actually getting it tight. So what you want to do, I can assure you this is a little bit more difficult when you're online as well, is you want all of your beads to sit this side. You don't want it to go beyond that, but the problem is, because I've got seed beads there, it's a little bit of a tinker. Right, let's make sure that that shimmies on down. So we've got that at the side, that like so, and then what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze slowly. So what it does is it's cut it and it's looping it for me. I think I've broken one of the seed beads on there. Doesn't really like seed beads very well. And then you can just close it up. But how clever is that? So I think I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to take out the seed bead at the end. So that one, that one. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but when I teach at Marlborough College at the summer school, I took this with me. I teach people of varying ages, and once they got the grasps of it, they were fighting over it, if I'm honest. Okay, so there we go. It's a different angle, so make sure that you push it tight up against the side. We're going to squeeze. Right, now what's happened there happens sometimes, and it's not actually cut it. I'm not sure why, but if that does happen, it's good that it's happened online, because you can see it's actually formed the loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off myself. but you've still got a perfectly formed loop. There you go. Let's do another one. Not quite sure why it does that at random. It's a bit bizarre, but it happens. But do pop me a note in the comments. Have you worked with eye pins before? Do you know, I've seen some beautiful ones that I like the multicoloured ones as well. Whoops. Right, let's see if we can get it to cut this time. At least you can see it for what it is, warts and all. Okay, so it goes through the hole at the side there. Let's turn that up that way so you've got a good look at that. So that is pushed right up. See, it's not cut it again. I'm not sure, maybe it's because mine are old. But it still looped it, and I'm going to cut that off. It still created a beautiful loop. I just cut the burr off on it. I wonder what that is. How bizarre. Anyway, you get the gist of that. So I've got one slightly damaged. So I'm going to have these three in my centre, and this one at the side. I think I'm going to do 2 more, and then we're ready to assemble the bracelet. Now just take into account with your bracelet length what size clasp you're going to be using, because obviously, you know, that could really take you well over the length. But the good thing is with the eye pins is that you can just, it's easy to add or take off. So the other way you could do it is you could always turn it at a right angle before cutting, and then you cut the centimetre off. Also, one of the top tips I would say is I see so many people put all of their effort into this. It really is very small, gentle movements. If you put too much into it, what you'll do is you'll just buckle the wire, and you'll just make life a lot harder for yourself. Right, so, whoops. Oh, I've got another one there, forgotten all about. Bead cap. So this is the other way. You could turn it before you cut it, and that kind of locks them into place. But do bear in mind that you're all gonna, it's a bit like crochet or knitting if you've ever done it, you're all gonna have different loop sizes and different tensions. So just bear that in mind. When I'm saying a centimetre, once you've done a few, you're gonna get to gist at actually how much or how little you're going to need to cut. I'm just starting off with a guide for you. Now my other top tip is that I wouldn't join eye pin to eye pin, because it seems to buckle. It doesn't seem to flow. By all means try it, but you'll be able to see the difference. Now these jump rings have got a slit. Hold the slit at 12 o'clock, and with two pliers, I'm using bent nose and chain nose, but normally a flat nose and a chain nose would be sufficient, or whatever you're comfortable with, but just don't use round nose pliers because they will mark your work. Pop that on so they're both on the jump ring, and then close that up. I always like to squeeze the top of the jump ring. So there we go. So you're making chain. You can even make a necklace or a bracelet where you combine a little bit of tiger tail in there as well if you want to. And we've also used this technique in with some of the sun catchers as well. So I'm just opening all of these jump rings up. You don't need to open them too far, and make sure it's a side on side rocking action, not that way, because you'll put it out of shape. Squeeze the top. Oops, sorry. That's the only thing, when I get too close up on the camera, it's so easy to go off camera. Close. So you see how quickly that comes together. Now, I know it can be slightly taxing on the hands if, like I say, if you do get pains in your hands. But all I'd say is give it a try. And if you find it's difficult doing too many, then combine it with another technique, like I mentioned to you, like use part chain in it. You know, you could use pretty links, then a little bit of chain, and do it that way. Oops, just going underneath that just to, there we go. And then I'm going to do one more, and then I'll show you how to attach the clasp. But really it is no different. I tend to, with the clasp, I tend not to add a jump ring on the clasp, because I attach the clasp straight to the eye pin, providing the movement is okay in it. So there's your bracelet, and here's the clasp that I'm going to pop on there. Now, if we added a jump ring, to me that's just so much extra sort of findings. So what I tend to do is open up your link, so just small movement, just up slightly, pop the clasp end on there, and then close it, and then do the same the other side. So this is the other part of the clasp. But if you have any top tips yourself from doing this, please do share, because that's what it's all about. And I know I've picked up so many tips from you all as well. So there we have your bracelet. So it possibly isn't right in the center, but you've got your focal bead, and then I've changed them slightly there as well. So I hope you like that. So I'm going to zoom out and see if you've got any questions. So obviously, if you did the earrings, the bottom part would be with a head pin, and you just attach it in the same way. So that's the head pin. So the only difference is, if you've never used a head pin before, it has a flat base. So you use the last one as a head pin, and then you just attach that to the earring hook. So let's have a little look through your comments. Oh, sorry, I'm just... Sorry, it's great to see all of your comments in here. Right, okay. So we're getting a lot of likes for the earrings as well. Annette made some angel earrings with those lilies. I know, and they make such beautiful little dresses, don't they? Kay said she's got lupus. Oh yes, I saw that. Janet hasn't used hers either. Betty says her lilies, I know you said lollies, but I think you mean lilies, are much bigger. Yes, they do come in different sizes. Yes, she said lilies. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Carol. No problems ever about you being late. The notifications seem to have stopped. Oh, again. June bought her one-step loop and finds it easier to do it manually. It's each to their own now. They come in different sizes. I'm not quite sure what size this makes. I think mine's a 3mm. You could use the bits, yes, absolutely, Betty. You could use those little wasted bits at the end and put those back through your looper again. Oh, I'm so pleased you all like that. Lydia said she must get one. But if anybody wants me to look at the link for them, do let me know. Kim, yes, I think the one-step looper would be good for you. And it's such a lovely, effective design. Dot bought one, but she didn't know how to use it and never been good at making loops. Well, it's brilliant for that. It's just literally practice. It's the same as everything else. Betty, yes, it only makes one size, but I think you can buy them to make different size loops, so just be mindful of that when you're buying it. Yes, Janet says 3mm. That's a good size. I'm pretty sure that's the one I've got. Thanks for a refresher on pooped. I think that was a typo, Anne. Oh, the looper, not the pooper. Oh, aren't we just so grateful for predictive text? Gets me into so much trouble. We've covered that one. No, it makes the same. Yeah, so pleased you're not pooped, Anne. Deb says she can never get her loops the same. Oh, and Sharon, as was it Betty or Janet said about the ends, you can pop these back through the looper. I mean, they have to be a certain size to do, but what I tend to do is not put them through the hole, and is just actually put them on there slightly, and you can use them to make little eye pins. So it's quite clever. Anne is totally pooped. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, Deb, what a lovely idea. Deb is saying that she uses her little fragments to make figure of 8 loops. So for figure of 8 loops, you could just literally do a loop one way and then do a loop the other way. Hey, Deb, that's a great idea. My figure of 8 is a bit wonky donkey. Hang on. That didn't work very well, did it? I can't even find it now. Right, let me hold it up so that you can see it. See? Figure of 8 with your wastage. And then you could use those as little links. I love that idea. It is a lot of looping, Sharon. It just depends on what floats your boat. And like I say, you can combine it with tiger tail, you can add chain. Annette, yes, she puts some mark on her tool so the loops are the same size. I often do that as well, just with a little Sharpie pen. Oh, Frances likes the thought of it on a dream catcher. I'm so pleased that you're liking it all. So quick will add to my put my teeth in my must make list, says Frances. Now Lynn knows what to do with eye pins. I'm so pleased. I mean, it would be great to know how many of you found this useful, and or how many of you have done it before, because I do think sometimes it's so easy as a demonstrator and teacher to go off at tangents and do all of these sort of different, perhaps more complicated things, but I think we all want to actually at some point do something that is just you can sit in front of the telly with, and going back to basics and forgetting the effectiveness of what you can combine with basic techniques. Yes, Kim, you could make the components a few at a time. Oh, Linda got her order today and with the freebie gift. You are very welcome. Yes, you can buy step looping pliers. That's the other thing that you can get as well. What size wire would you use? Well, if you're going to make your own, I'd suggest using 0.8mm. Oh, good. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. Jay said she's loving the tips. Carol likes the little daisy spaces. Yes, they are fab, aren't they? June says she's done it before, but it always gives her extra ideas on what to do. And Janet said basics is very useful. Kim got her parcel today as well. Brilliant. I will be updating everybody's baskets again soon. Yeah, I think the idea of a bit of chain between them is a great idea. Let me just grab some chain and show you. Be right back. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing okay for time. So this admittedly is silver chain. Let me just go and grab have a little chat between yourselves. And I'm going to show you what it looks like with a bit of chain. And then when we've done that, I'll show you what the giveaway is for tonight. So these are the smaller eye pins in the silver. And this chain that I've got, this is really nice chain. I think it's £1.30 or £1.40 a metre. So you'd get two 18-inch necklaces out of it. And again, you could use part and part. So say, for example, if you were doing curtain tie backs, you could always just have a row at the front of your eye pins because you're only going to see the front. And then at the back, you could have chain. That's sort of food for thought. I know the gold, the gold's not going to work that well with silver eye pins. Now I'm going to attach them to each other so that you can see. It might be okay. All I'd say is sort of try it, see what works for you. But I think this would be quite nice if you're doing any of the Tree of Life sun catchers as well. The other thing that you could do is if you have a necklace using tiger tail, you could have one of the hangers on it, which is coming up in the thread, which is just like a little, it's just a piece of metal that's got a loop on it. So you could have the loop on it and then you could have a dangle as well. Right, so this way I'm just attaching loop to loop, and actually it's not too bad. So that's just attaching loop to loop. I think if you're going to be doing it in like little stages, that's okay. And right, let's add some chain to it. So all I would do is open up the eye pin. It doesn't help that I'm actually holding pliers in the same hand. Oh, do the caps discolour with age? Unfortunately, they do. I try and test mine because I'm just so hard on them, but unfortunately there really is no way around it. Even sterling silver tarnishes. But if you were in our top tips session, I think it was Janet and June, I think, was saying that you can buy these tabs that actually are anti-tarnish tabs. And you can put those in when you're storing your jewellery. So I thought that was a really good idea. Not heard of those before. I don't know why, because on hindsight, looking at it, they're quite popular. Right, okay, so that is a chain to chain. So what I'm getting at is you could have, because I quite like long necklaces that pop over the head, so you wouldn't have to have a clasp. So you could have chain going around the neck, and then you could have these at like intervals, and then you could have a few more in the center, or you could have it completely different where you have one and a bit of chain, you know, just vary it. So that's another option. And that's also something else you could do with earrings as well. So you could have the chain on the earrings. I'm just trying to think, you could possibly even have a little child or adult headband where you have the beads at the top, and you could have some of the elastic at the back. Just food for thought. Let's have a little look. So I'm glad you find that useful. I'm sorry if I don't answer everybody's questions, but sort of skipping over and looking through them. Right, Linda, if your one-step loopers are not forming a full loop, what you need to make sure is that you close them fully. You might be, but when I've observed it before, people aren't closing them fully, and you have to do it fully in order for it to finish off the loop. So that's a possibility, or it could be where you're positioning your wire. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Betty. I do. Betty's saying that she likes the way that I turn things into other things. Well, I like it because even if people don't wear jewellery, you can still enjoy the tutorials and still enjoy making. I don't know whether the daisy space has come in rose gold. I will have a look. A beaded curtain. Oh, I say. That's quite nice though, isn't it? You could have it on like a little wooden pole. Do you know what? I actually did something like that. I completely forgot about it. It was like a window display where I had a bit of wood and my partner drilled in these hooks, and I had them so that they were in a V. So I had them at different gradients. So it's not quite a curtain, but it's on a silver similar thing. Could you use all your odd beads up? Do you know what, Jana? I think odd beads work really well with this, and I think multicolour is really good because it will go with all of your outfits as well. Yeah, sadly they do discolour. June said she's not sure I have that many years left what to make a beaded curtain. Oh dear. Carol's used tie back shoes in tiger tail, and like you say, keep the decoration at the front, no one sees the back, and if they are, they're being a bit rude, aren't they, looking at the back of your curtains. Yeah, you can clean your jewellery in a jewellery cleaner, also with a silver cloth. Yeah, it looks nice with the chain, doesn't it? And I think you could get away without actually putting jump rings in between if you're just having a few at a time. Oh, glasses chain. Yes, of course. Like it with the silver chain. Hello, Betsy. Don't worry about being late. It's just good to have you. You're all liking that. That's great. Kim's doing a Hessian twine with shells hanging from her loo window. Oh, I say, let's make sure you share a pic of your hanging when you finished. That sounds lovely. Right, okay, your giveaway for this week. So if you've not joined before, all you need to do to be entered is make sure you like the post for the video and you comment below. So here's what I've got for you is a 16-inch ivory strand, a pack of the pretty bead caps, a pack of the ornate clasps, and the eye pins. I will put in some jump rings as well. I'm not quite sure why I haven't put those in. So there you go. That's our tutorial for tonight. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks ever so much for joining. It's an absolute delight having you all join me. I know I can't see you, but it's lovely to have you all around in the group. I will see you on Sunday for news and updates, and do watch out because I will put the details of the winner up at the top of the post. If you do win, you also get free P&P with your order if there's anything you want and you're happy for it to be combined with your freebie, which I know a lot of you do, and make use of that freebie. Hi Sandra, no problem. Oh, thank you everyone. You take care now. Bye.